President Donald Trump calling today Liberation Day as he announced a new round of tariffs. He vows this will boost American manufacturing and punish companies that use foreign-made products. Ahead of today's announcement, Denver 7 went out into the community to hear your thoughts on tariffs.
I think I'm for tariffs. For the most part, I think it's some short-term pain for a long-term gain. I think a lot of it is bringing jobs back to the U.S., manufacturing jobs and such that we've lost. You know, a lot of outsourcing has happened, and so I think it's a strategy to bring jobs back to the U.S.
And other people are heeding the warning from economists who say these tariffs will raise prices.
I think it's a really bad idea. I think it's going to affect all the American people, and I think we're just starting to see little effects. I think prices of groceries, cars, electronics, everything is going to skyrise.
The president's announcement today is something the administration and economy have been anticipating for months.
Well, Scripps News Group's Dan Grossman breaks it down for us tonight.
President Trump spoke for about an hour in the Rose Garden at the White House, announcing these new reciprocal tariffs will create what he called a golden age in America. Some of these tariffs, a 10% tariff against all trading partners, with other reciprocal tariffs the president says are for non-monetary things such as currency manipulation. Those range from 10% to 49%, with that highest percentage coming against countries like Cambodia. Here is what some of President Trump had to say.
For years, hardworking American citizens were forced to sit on the sidelines as other nations got rich and powerful, much of it at our expense. But now it's our turn to prosper, and in so doing, use trillions and trillions of dollars to reduce our taxes and pay down our national debt, and it'll all happen very quickly.
Some other tariff percentages of note is China at 34%, the EU at 20%, and Japan at 24%. President Trump also announcing a 25% tariff on automobiles that are manufactured outside of the United States. President Trump also saying he is working on a tax deduction for Americans who buy a car that was built in the U.S. Now, while many in the crowd at the Rose Garden cheered many of these announcements, markets did not react similarly. The exchange-traded fund that tracks the S&P 500 dropped more than 2.3%, and the ETF that tracks the NASDAQ 100 also dropped about 3.1%. Dan Grossman, Scripps News Group, Denver.
So this afternoon, I went to the DU campus to talk to Dr. Fritz Mayer. He is the dean of the Korbel School of International Studies. Now, Dr. Mayer helped craft NAFTA, North American Free Trade Agreement, back in the early 90s. And I asked him if his experience leads him to believe that higher tariffs will force reinvestment in the U.S. and bring back manufacturing jobs like the president has claimed. Well, he says it's really not that simple, but he says it is possible that the threat of an ugly trade war could end with renegotiated trade deals that are more beneficial to the U.S.
Yes, it is possible, and we even see it now in some countries preemptively lowering their tariff rates so as to not be hit by the Trump. So yes, is it possible that the outcome of this will be an exchange in which we walk up to a trade war and then we back away from it and end up in a more sensible place? That's possible, but so too is escalation, and that's really hard to know for sure where that's going to land.
So as you see there, Mayer says the end result here is anything but guaranteed, but he did say one thing is certain about these tariffs in the short term.
I don't think there's a scenario in which this won't raise prices for consumers and for businesses.
And Dr. Mayer says the question here is how long the short term will be.